side.
Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Vincent Green.
I'm your host, Noel John Toohey.
And this is Dark Side of the Moon, motherfuckers. And this week we're talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I'm sorry, Anakin. For all of
it. You were supposed to be the chosen one, Anakin. I loved you like a brother. So let's talk a little bit about this Disney Plus fucking awesome event. Like they keep fucking doing.
I needed this. Like I've needed this, I think, my entire life.
I think Andor's coming out next.
We're too young for the original trilogy. It finished I'm older than you. It finished the year I was born. It was well done by the time you were born. But we grew up with it, which is amazing, absolutely. But I was just saying the first. And of course, the 20-year anniversary in 97, I remember I went to all those and they were great because they updated the special effects and whatnot. Digitally remastered is the term I'm looking for. Yeah. And then we had the prequel trilogy and then we had the sequel trilogy. Now, there was some joy in that, don't get me wrong, but they weren't perfect.
Yeah.
This felt like finally, in my generation, in my lifetime, a great Star Wars series. I just needed it, man. It was like an itch I didn't know I had, but when it got scratched, I knew all about it.
It was absolutely fucking awesome to finally see Darth Vader in his prime go up against Obi-Wan Kenobi in his prime. Well, a little bit past his prime, but like it was just fucking awesome to see Obi-Wan reconnect with the Force, and this is how you handle it correctly. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and this is how you handle a legacy character correctly as well. Like, there's no missteps here. Like, even Darth Vader was fucking awesome this show, man. He was absolutely awesome.
And Hayden Christensen, who got like a lot of grief from me. I'm not trying to put a razor above it, because I didn't like his descent from Anakin to Darth.
I hate sand.
I hate sand. It gets everywhere. yeah. And I killed him. I hate them. But in this, he was great. Even just the mask scene, you didn't. And of course, like, and everything bleeds into A New Hope so well. Like, even the one line, like, you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, I did.
Yeah.
And got chill.
They've been backtracking from that line for ages, haven't they?
And then he's able to, because he tells, like, obviously Obi-Wan Kenobi is an incredibly honorable, like, the best of the best in terms of just goodness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a very morally, never tempted by the dark side. There's no mention of the dark side around Obi.
Yeah.
So but he's not a liar.
He's a fanatic.
But he tells Luke, Darth Vader killed your father. Yeah. And later on, he kind of like, it's like, he uses the whole, Anakin was like a good man, blah, 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 and Darth Vader.
So what could say?
Kind of like, no, it's a lie. Yeah, one could say. Yeah. But it just gave it this whole credence. It lended to 45 years ago when Obi-Wan Kenobi says to him, and it turns out to not technically be true. But now, to me, it actually feels like it's exactly true. Because that moment where Hayden Christensen's eyes just look up through the broken mask and all the pain in it. And he just says, you didn't kill him, I did. And it's just, to me, just retroactively feels true. Now, that's nostalgia. That's nostalgia done right.
It was weird that they didn't de-age him for those dueling scenes.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
That was weird. Because, you know, it's Disney. They de-age everybody.
They de-age absolutely everybody.
If that was Marvel, they would have been de-aged like a motherfucker.
Like, it's a big thing now, isn't it? Like,
well, it makes sense if you can do it. Like.
But man, I mean, it even just felt right. I was about to use a word that I absolutely completely don't agree with. It was pathetic, but that's not the right thing. But I was just saying, like, somebody who's a Jedi master, being working at some sort of a meat plant. But like, to be fair, the reason I feel bad, because it's honest work.
Yeah,
it's an honest life. There's nothing wrong with that. But he's supposed to be a Jedi master. He's supposed to be protecting galaxies.
Jervis's father said that the last time he had a six-pack was when he worked in a meat packing factory.
That
is ferocious work. like you're carrying like massive slabs.
Yeah, and
everywhere.
cutting through it.
Yeah, like oh my
God. No, it's a
yeah.
complete workout, absolutely
Jeez.
all day, every day.
So I don't understand why you're coming after the meatpacking industry. Is all I'm saying.
No, and I apologize because it's absolutely.
It seemed like you're veering that way. It just seemed like there was a swift veer.
My message to the meatpacking industry people, if they're listening to this, is that if you are a Jedi Master, follow your bliss. That's it.
Be your best self.
Be your best self is all I'm saying. You have so much to give the world. That's it.
But if you will, you should be unpacking the Jedi within yourself.
Yes, exactly. Oh, I like that. But I loved this, man. I mean, Sheila is not as into Star Wars as I am. Not that I'm actually like a Star Wars guy in some kind of huge sense, but like it's Star Wars.
Yeah,
I love it, but the guys who are into it are into it. I'm not trying to fucking.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Wouldn't survive a dick measuring contest with some people who are like obsessed with this stuff.
Yeah.
But then everything felt right. I know a lot of people were like they didn't want Leia to meet Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
They didn't think that made a lot of sense, and there are people that would defer to their expertise. But I loved young Leia. This kind of like, she wasn't as blessed in the Force or something like that, but she was an absolute spitfire.
Yeah,
she was incredibly intelligent, and she didn't have this huge sense
of Padme.
Yeah, young Padme. She didn't have this huge sense of her importance in the grand scheme of things. She was a little actress. She was delivered her lines well. She was snarky and she was funny, and she hit all of those kind of notes for me.
And the intelligence the character was supposed to have, it seemed believable because she never snuffed her lines. She was very quick on the draw, like
Do you remember Anakin, Phantom Menace? Anakin standing around his pod racer, and there's all these kids like Jake Lloyd, and there's all these kids go, well, Anakin, you're not going to be able to race it. Come on, guys. And that's fine, because you were literally talking about single-digit actors, like children, absolute children. And I'm not sure what age the young lady is.
Yeah, but there ain't no Dakota Fanning, those little kids. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, that's her. But she was excellent. You know what I mean? Like, she was standing there beside Ewan McGregor, an absolute, excellent actor, as Obi-Wan fucking Kenobi, and she was holding her own. And, man, you have to tip your cap to that.
It just shows you how good an actor Ewan McGregor is, though, as well. Like, he's very given in the scenes. You could tell, like, he's very, like, cooperative. Like, he's not. I don't think he's the kind of guy that would carry an ego onto a set. That kind of way. He seems to work very well in like a collaborative sense. That, like, even if he's working with a kid or he's working with an experienced actor, he's working with somebody like Hayden Christian that's inexperienced, that's up and coming. That, like, it just seems that, like, Obi-Wan Ewan McGregor, it just seems that, like, he's able to adapt to any kind of acting environment. That's why his career is so varied. If you look throughout his career, it just seems that he's like a perfect person for a kid to act off or act against, because of the kind of actor he is. That he just seems to, like, get into all of his roles 100%, no matter the role and no matter who he's acting off. He seems to have great chemistry with them. So I just think, like, for a little kid like that, it probably helped a lot to have Ewan McGregor, like, bouncing off. You know what I mean? Because if you look at, like, Jake Lloyd, like, you know what I mean, maybe he didn't bounce so well off Ewan McGregor, but that, like, you know what I mean. But, like, she did really well, and I thought, like, for most of his films, he seems to have a lot of chemistry with his fucking cast or crew members, whatever.
I actually thought that every scene that Obi-Wan was in, he kind of lifted it. He had an excellent presence of self.
Seems so happy to be playing Obi-Wan again or something.
He did, and also I think he was kind of, I think he was kind of playing Alec Guinness a little bit more.
Yeah. The transition
that little bit older, not because obviously he's not Qui-Gon Jinn's Padme at all, or Padawan. At all. He's a Jedi Master, and not just that, kind of a failed one in his own estimation.
Yeah.
So he's one job now, and he's just in that Alec Guinness role, that quiet life that he takes on proudly, because the last great hope.
I'm too old for this Sith.
Yeah. And oh man, Inquisitors. Oh.
Man, pure Hellraiser that dude was, the Grand Inquisitor. He was like pure Cenobite, wasn't
he? Yeah. And I have to say, like, I'd like the way he addressed everyone that came after that Moses woman that plays. I'm not sure what the Inquisitor's name of the woman she plays is. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's the third sister.
That. But, like, just speaking on behalf of MDK, fuck them. Fuck all of them.
What the
She
people
did a great job.
Oh, the third sister.
The people who went after Moses, whatever or her real name is Moses. She was
If you're backing her up, you probably should
the woman of
her
color
name, man.
that played.
I know you're talking about the third sister. I said her name like 4 times.
Yeah, the third sister. Like, go fuck yourself. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah. Like, man, seriously. Next time you're defending someone, you should IMDb their name beforehand.
Yeah. Third sister and as well. It's not that hard. It's not like one of those weird Star Wars names.
I love the Inquisitors. As I said to you a second ago, they had a real Cenobite feel. The Grand Inquisitor did, and like I love that when the play around with the imagery. Something we talked about before about Star Wars. I think you mentioned it was. When they do aliens, they do aliens. You know what I mean? They don't just have like humanoid creatures always. Like when Star Wars wants to go freaky with the aesthetics on their characters, they're not afraid to fucking go all out. And that's one thing I loved about the Inquisitors, that the Grand Inquisitor is fucking creepy as fuck. And when I thought initially when she killed him, I was like, oh fuck, I would have loved to see more of him. She's a solid character, but he was so creepy just by his appearance. And
she's using a lot of dialogue.
Yeah,
she's out there. She's not this like quiet in the shadows character at all. Yeah, because she's not supposed to be.
Yeah, and
he was that like, what the fuck is this guy thinking? Kind of character.
But he's like, oh, he's the kind of guy be like, oh, I'm going to cut your arms and legs off. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah. Like, where she's like so rageful. And like that's like one thing, like she wasn't intimidating as him for me, because he was just like, hi, I'm the Grand Inquisitor and now I'm going to do nothing but evil things. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I just love that kind of softly spoken villain. Like I love Longshanks and Braveheart. Like he's such a like, he's like, if we can't kill them out, we'll breed them out. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just like he never really raised his voice once in the whole movie. Like, you know what I mean? The problem with Scotland is that it's full of Scots.
But it's not. You know what I mean? It's not why Darth Vader again was such an iconic character, because when he was like, if he was choking, he would fight Obi-Wan Kenobi, the guy who made him like only like cut off an arm, 2 legs, made him into a robot that needs breathing assistance. He went at him with the same. He went at him with the exact same tone that he would with one of his own lieutenants that like he finds his lack of faith, disturbing or whatever it was. There was no change, and that monotone is actually quite terrifying. I've always said this to you, there's something very scary about the bad guy, because we're horror buffs. There's something very scary about the bad guy that's indifferent to you, like an insect would be to kill another insect. No names exchanged. I
was thinking of that a minute ago when you started talking about Darth Vader, the point you made about Michael Myers that popped into my head immediately. About what you said about him being so indifferent when he kills people.
That's it. And it's just like nothing. You're nothing. You're just there. That's all you are. And and he'd forget that he killed you the second after he killed you. Like he wouldn't ever reflect upon it. Yeah. And that's terrifying. And the Grand Inquisitor would have had that air. So I would agree with you. Like I was like, they got rid of him very quick. Yeah. When he could have been a little slice of kind of like creepy.
Yeah, maybe kill him off in episode 4. I think he gets killed like 2 or 3 or something, doesn't he?
Yeah, he gets killed early because she's making her power play. Yeah. And we find out later there's more to that. Yeah. But I thought she was an excellent character. I again, it's just like, so, nobody's more furious about the fact that some people aren't white and some people are even women than me. It's crazy. It's driving me absolutely mad. But I guess we're just going to have to put up with it at some point. There's some you fucking losers.
Man, I always have to laugh at anybody when they go like, oh, they shouldn't have a different race of Star Wars. Like, dude, it's a galaxy far, far away. It's full of aliens. That dude has 15 legs. And that guy's like fucking drinking blue milk.
No, you want to get technical. None of them should be humans at all. You know what I mean? Like, or maybe not even carbon based. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? Like, it's just it's a show. You know what I mean?
And she's really fucking solid in it. I just think like in comparison,
anger, actual anger felt real.
Her rage was good, but in terms of intimidation, the Grand Inquisitor was more intimidating because he was the guy that was just purely about the mission. He was purely about the dark side.
There's a less is more kind of thing. That's true.
Yeah, it's just something about him that, like, as I said, he invoked Cenobites. For me, when I was a kid and I seen Hellraiser for the first time, that movie, I was like, what the fuck? So, like, anytime I see anything that resembles a Cenobite, I'm just like, it's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? But when you see someone like him that just talks so softly and it looks so weird, and then I don't know who the character was, the other female character was. I don't know what her name is on IMDb in a sec.
Oh, you should probably know her name if you're going to.
I didn't defend her though. I said, like, you know what I mean, like, but I just Obi-Wan, but like, I just think that with when you compare the two as a villain, that I think is you get rid of someone like the Grand Inquisitor so early, and then you put so much weight on one character in terms of being the villain. I think it would have been better if her power play was going on the background a little bit longer throughout, and her trying her best to get towards Dart and get towards it, and then like have the Grand Inquisitor be around a bit longer, because then by the time she kills him in air quotes and then he returns later on, it has a bit more credence, and he's not gone so long, because like he's gone for pretty much most of the season. He comes back. It'd be better if he was just gone for 1 or 2 episodes, keep that character fresh in our heads, like, you know what I mean. And I think she was a good villain, but a little bit too much. What I'm seeing now, it's kind of, I mean, why does everybody need a redemption arc?
Yeah, you know what?
You know what I mean? Like Kylo Ren, that guy killed Han Solo, and she's kissed him at the end of the trilogy. Fuck that bitch. Fuck that noise.
Oh no, Darth Vader chopped up babies with a laser sword.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And then at the end, he's like smiling. Yeah, there's a Force ghost. I'm like,
yeah,
he literally committed mass
like
infanticide.
Like mass infanticide.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, could you imagine in the real
not
world
alone what the Death Star did as well? Like, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that exactly.
Millions of children on Alderaan and all those.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, you know, upsies. Its fourth like, sister, by the way, it's just fourth sister.
The other girl. So yeah, what, sister 1 and sister 2 been in it yet? No.
There's I think it's like third sister means she's third from the top, and she is a sister as opposed to a brother, if you know what I mean. Because I think there's the Grand Inquisitor, first brother, second sister, third brother, you know, whatever their station and gender is. So first, second, third, and fourth are simply just numbers from the top. Yeah. So and it's Moses Ingram is the name of the girl that they really kind of came from. And I think their response to that should be just more actors of color until they shut the fuck up.
Like, I just don't understand that fucking nonsense. Like, people came after the girl for playing mermaid, the mermaid character, Ariel.
Yeah,
they're like, I'm like, dude, she's half fish.
She's half fish.
She could be any color, and I'd be like, that makes sense.
You know, we should be the thing of like
mermaids,
where like the bottom half is like whatever type of fish it should be, like, you know, based on, and then I'd be like, oh wait, they've clearly based this on a goldfish, and the old one was based on like a clownfish, and I'd be like, this is ridiculous. You know, like, how dare they?
When people came after
that's what you're, because that's what you're doing.
You remember when people were coming after Warner Brothers for casting Jason Momoa as Arthur Curry? And I'm like, dude, it makes 100% sense. He comes from Polynesian ancestry. Like, he's from New Zealand. They share Polynesian ancestry with Samoan people, so it makes complete sense. They worship fucking sea gods, dude. It makes 100%. Like, not some Aryan dude. That makes no sense. A Polynesian dude that ends up being the Lord of the Oceans. It makes 100% sense. It's like Maui, that dude in fucking what you call it in Moana. 100% sense.
Yeah,
it's in their lore.
By the way, our Princess Leia is 10 now.
Yeah, so
she was not even long 10.
Yeah,
so she was single digits in that. Vivian Lyra Blair, take a bow. Absolutely excellent, fantastic job. She should be so proud of herself. What a start to a career.
Yeah, but like, so before we get like kind of bogged down in the controversy that like fucking like Star Wars fans, if there is a toxic fan base, it does come from this sector, unfortunately, because the movies themselves are like a lot of the times very upbeat. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't understand when they get so angry over shit. But like, one thing I loved about this was something we spoke about in the last episode was legacy characters and how legacy characters are used. And we talked about how Luke, Leia, and Han were a little bit mishandled throughout the sequel trilogy. But this one, what we touched on, was Disney are learning, and they're learning very quickly. And the way they handled Darth Vader in this fucking show, and the way they handled Obi-Wan Kenobi was incredible, man. Their face off in episode 6. Holy fuck balls, man.
Especially when Obi-Wan got his groove back.
Yeah, like, so in episode 5, right, so we touched on the last episode. So we'll talk about episode 5 and 6 together, because like the two biggest moments was when he's trying to escape. Pretty much they're in that bunker, and Darth Vader arrives. There, pretty much he has to try to keep him occupied while they try to escape, and then they make the retreat, remember? And they're flying off, and he stops that fucking ship. When he puts out his hand, like, first he starts ripping off bunker doors, like blast doors. He starts ripping them off like they're wet paper.
Man, I can't rip through styrofoam like that.
Yeah,
I love the fact that they just showed, and especially because I always thought like Darth Vader, like that he talked the talk and he was shown to have walked the walk, but obviously he wasn't as like agile as a Darth Maul. and he wasn't as, you know what I mean? Like even Palpatine, the fight he had against Yoda, you seen that, like, you know, looks can be deceiving. Vader never really had a looks could be deceiving moment about how good a swordsman he is.
Yeah.
But when he fights like the third sister with just the Force, you know, like stopping it and just moving and just being one step ahead of her, like before she even thinks. But so
I love the block saber.
I feel like now I know why Vader is such a fucking badass.
Yeah, man,
such a badass.
Because if you look back in the prequel trilogy,
like imagine you want to assassinate somebody and you've got a laser sword and you're standing beside him and you know you can't do it.
Yeah, oh man, like,
you can't.
Man, look back at the prequel trilogy. Like Anakin, even as a young dude, was an awesome swordsman. Like he gave Dooku a pretty solid go on his own before Dooku cut his arm off.
Oh yeah,
like, you know, because he's a Skywalker and needs to get the arm cut off. Also, we should have mentioned the last episode, Rey. If you
really want to cut her arm off,
cut your arm off. You want to be a Skywalker, cut that fucking arm off. Show some commitment to the
walk
cause.
The walk. That's all I'm asking.
If you want to sky talk the talk, you better skywalk the walk. I think I might have used that joke in another episode, but I'm standing by it. That's what I do. But like man, the fucking part where Vader's ripping through the blast doors and then he stops the fucking ship flying off, and then as you said earlier, I think it's the last episode where he pretty much lands the ship and then he just rips the side off. Like it's like literally when you're opening up a plastic bag and the nuts tied on it and it's an iron, so you just rip it open. That's kind of what it was like. It was just that effortless. Like it was just like
same energy. Yeah,
like,
absolutely. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, but
is it nah?
Yeah, man, that was,
you know what I mean. Like
to finally get to see Vader do that, and then like see how powerful he is, and in the fight scene with the third sister later on that episode, man. As you say, I love when they fucking block the lightsaber strike with the fucking with the Force. Man, it's just so fluid how they use swordplay and the Force together. That's what I love watching when they have that real.
But like he took her double-sided saber, broke it, and gave her half.
Yeah,
like, you know, like I said, like this is nothing to me. You know what I mean? This is nothing to me. This is like when you're playing football with the 3-year-old and you know you're kind of like letting him think he's getting one up in you. But it's actually nothing. To you. Yeah, but then like you said, you want to know, and it was children versus giants, and that's she knew that.
Yeah.
So she made her move and was hoping it would work. It didn't work, but I just thought, oh man, everything about it just again, people are picking up. People who know the lore are like really, really, really upset. Like I even like I don't know in the cartoon. Sorry, what's the animated show called?
There's a few of them: Clone Wars, Rebels, Alliance.
The one where the final showdown with Obi-Wan, Darth Maul. Have you ever seen that?
No, in
Clone Wars.
Clone Wars. No, I haven't seen that. No, I've only seen the first 3 seasons.
It's short and sweet.
Yeah, don't really.
And people were like, why is it so short and sweet? Because they're expecting it to be epic. And somebody kind of goes, actually, Obi-Wan has a sword style because blah blah blah, which is an ultimate defensive technique. And Darth Maul is so overly offensive, you know, like, and everyone was like, oh right, that makes sense to me. And I was like, no, it's because Obi-Wan's a badass. And somewhere along the line that was forgotten, like you said, legacy characters, because they're so like Skywalker and stuff driven.
Yeah,
Obi-Wan was a badass. Obi-Wan took out Maul and Dooku. What's the big fuck General Grievous?
Grievous, yeah, man, he was amazing in the prequel trilogy. Like the way some of the shit Obi-Wan does in the prequel trilogy is insane. Like the part in Order 66 when everyone's getting killed and he escapes and your man just starts shooting at him. Like, you know what I mean? Like the fucking fight sequences, man. Like in the what's what I look for? Like the gladiatorial arena at the end of Attack of the Clones. Man, Obi-Wan does so much fucking shit. Like he butchers Anakin in Mustafar at the end of Return of the Sith, man. You know what I mean? So like, or is it Revenge of the Sith? Revenge of the Sith, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so, it's Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, I just think it's fucking awesome. That's what I love about Ewan McGregor's portrayal of Obi-Wan, that we actually get to see him do all this shit, because somebody touched upon the original trilogy, that fight sequence with Darth Vader and Obi-Wan, like they could have used stuntmen there and made that fight scene pretty fucking awesome. And it was just so slow. But to finally get to see Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader properly, even if Obi-Wan's like a little bit past his peak, but to see him re-engage with the Force.
But it had that great, like he took his licks in the first fight, and then the second fight where he was like, well, then I guess my friend is really dead. And then he just fights a Darth. You know what I mean? He fights an actual Sith Lord. Like a Jedi has been trained to do since
fights to kill.
Fights to kill. But of course, he probably would have. But I think when he took the blow to the mask and he sees him on a respirator and he looks him in the eyes, I think despite the fact that he knows it's because he goes like, and he calls him Darth as if Darth's his name.
That's for the first time he ever calls him Darth.
Yeah, and he walks away. I think he knew that it wasn't him because he knew he's a big cog in the wheel, but he's not the one.
Should have killed him.
He'd been, yeah. And I just thought, oh man, that was just fantastic. And again, the way they used the Force, it wasn't just lightsaber. Like they were literally tearing the terrain around them.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. Throwing boulders at each other and shit, man.
Oh my god, burying Obi-Wan, and then Obi-Wan with the Force, and then Obi-Wan using the Force to unbury himself. Just incredible. It just showed like just how incredibly powerful the beings actually are. Instead of just like, because I remember in the original films, it was like the Force is more powerful than whatever amount of Death Stars or something like that, and it all sounds a bit hyperbolic. But just to see somebody who's like so in control of the nature around them and can see things, I don't know. The badassery was huge.
It's what makes Rey so annoying as well when she stops that fucking freighter taking off with Chewie.
Because that's what I'm saying. Like,
when Darth Vader does it, it's believable.
Of course.
Yeah, because you see what Yoda and Count Dooku were able to do, those giant yokes that they're fucking at each other.
Obi-Wan lost a master to Darth Maul and defeated him by the slimmest of margins. And then he fought Anakin. Like he had earned these stripes.
Yeah.
Every bit of power that he has is from huge amounts of experience. And he's earned every lick of it. And that's again, it's the Dragon. Look, I mean, for me, I'm just calling it the Dragon Ball Z factor. That's my new barometer for it, because they say, oh, this character's badass, and they build him up, and then suddenly, like, I've unlocked a new form, and then everything that you've seen no longer matters. In fact, these tiny characters are now on this level. Yeah. Like that's the basic level. Like they're going to make Darth Vader a basic level, but now they can't. I felt like Darth Vader came back and I went, wow, I've never seen. In all of Star Wars, I've never seen anyone as powerful in that sense as, like, for example, the telekinesis. Never seen anyone as powerful as Vader. Yeah. Just the matter around him means nothing to him.
Do you remember that Star Wars game? I have it here somewhere.
The one where you're Vader's Padawan.
I
remember it.
I can't remember the name. I have it here somewhere. But do you remember the first mission in that game where they let you be Darth Vader for a mission where you're on the Wookiee planet and you're just like butchering Wookiees? I remember it well. Yeah, you start as Darth Vader and you're fully powered, like and you're just like like, and you're just like dragging guys towards you with the Force, cutting them in half with the fucking lightsaber, throwing people out. That's what that reminded me of. Seeing Darth Vader in not only in pure control of his powers, but still really, really fucking angry. Like, because in the when it came to the original trilogy at that stage, it was like he'd settle into his role as like the Sith Lord or whatever, and he had a bit of that rage still.
The Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed. Yeah, thank you. But like it seemed like he was still hanging on to that rage that Anakin had at the end of the prequel trilogy, like, because it was only 10 years after the fact. Whereas it got to the original trilogy, it seemed like he was killing people for the sake of tying up loose ends. Whereas this, he still had that rage and the confliction about inside himself, where am I Anakin, am I Darth? And then eventually comes to the conclusion at the same time as Obi-Wan that Anakin no longer exists. He hasn't actually really existed for a long time, that he's long dead, that Darth is all that remains. And that's one thing I loved about it when he said goodbye, Darth. And I just thought that was fucking perfect, because like he had never called him Darth, he called him Anakin throughout the entire show. And he called him Anakin, like, you know what I mean?
But it was this whole thing where Darth was considered a name originally. Darth Vader, and then it kind of came around later that Darth was a position in the Sith, like Captain Vader or some shit like that. You know, Darth Sidious, Darth Maul, Darth whoever. But at the start, Ben talked about him like Darth was his first name, and they paid a little tip of the cap to that. He just says, you know, whatever, I'll see you again, Darth, and fucks off, and it's just powerful. Yeah. And also, it was the first time you've seen Vader look like he's in pain. Yeah. Like he's doing terrible things. And he handed his ass to him again. Yeah, something that he's not planning on letting happen again. And then you realize that
I think Obi-Wan has his number to work out well for him.
Yeah,
produces him an ear. Oh, interesting.
I'd
So
like
I
for
was
the
so
people that
hopeful
know
about
they're
that
just
movie.
watching it. Every time he does the producers in his ear thing, he
Yeah.
does the finger in the ear to back away from the mic. Every time. None of you can see us. He does it every single time. He's never not done it.
Yeah, because the producer's in my ear, dude. I have to do
Well,
the
yeah,
ear.
no, it's fair enough.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? This fucking guy. Yeah, so like, what did you think? So do you think the way they handled young Leia was kind of made up for how poorly young Anakin was handled in Phantom Menace?
I think so. I really do. I mean, there was a lot to her, but at the same time, they kept her vulnerable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't
Never
that
forgot she was a
like
kid.
she was brave and she was smart, and that's how she got out of it. It wasn't
Kind of
that
like
she
Arya in Game of Thrones at the start.
exactly
She was brave, smart, intelligent, but she was always just a kid. And they
She's still
remember
just
that.
a kid, like,
Yeah.
and it's not like she could have taken on Vader. It's not like she could have done any of this kind of thing. But she wasn't going. She never gave up, and she just
But
had
she
that
can
kind of
climb
like
into a vent and fuck around with some wires or whatever. She can help.
exactly. She could help,
Yeah.
and just that kind of like never say die attitude, which us like mere mortals that's what you very much link yourself with.
Yeah.
While everybody else is able to do this stuff of like legend of Odin, of Thor, but she's actually just this like a spitfire. She's not stopping until there's nowhere to go. Every single time she's looking for a way to get out of it or an advantage. She's just smart. She's just a smart young lady, and I thought she was brilliantly handled. And for people who didn't want Ben to meet her, whatever, I'm sorry, that was a fantastic series. Whatever
it makes
doing,
perfect
keep
sense.
on doing it.
What would make Ben Kenobi, Obi-Wan Kenobi come out hiding? Leia getting kidnapped. It makes perfect sense as a story.
So what would make him finally reveal himself without a second's thought to Luke after 16 years or whatever it was? He would say, "Of course I know him. It's me." Straight away, like, not a hint. Like, and he's been watching him for a distance every day for like over a decade and a half, and there he is.
19 is it 19 years? It's supposed to be 19 years old to start Star Wars, is it?
That's it. He's supposed to be, I thought he was 16 or something. I thought he was supposed to be like actually a kid. It was funny.
Yeah, no, I think he's supposed to be 19. I heard that somewhere recently or something like that. So you could still probably fit one more season of Obi-Wan in there somewhere. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Fuck yeah. God,
or even
Jack,
two more, because you still have 9 years in between. He ages horrifically. They have to give him make him look more and more older, though. I think try to make him look more and more like Alec Guinness as the seasons go on. It'd be fucking awesome.
That's
cool. So Noel, so what do you think of Obi-Wan? Do you want to see another season before we get the fuck out of here?
Oh my god, more than life.
Yeah, so I think it'd be fucking awesome. I'd love to see a bit more Vader, a bit more Obi-Wan. I don't know if you're going to have Vader in the next season if you have another one, because you're going to have to try and protect the original continuity. I don't know what way that works, but I know I want to see more because I fucking really enjoyed it.
And thank you, Star Wars. You landed it. You finally fucking landed it. Well,
and for now, that's the end of our Star Wars series.
They finally got it completely right.
And for now, that's the end of our Star Wars series. And it was like, 6 episodes, 7 episodes? I don't know. We'll be back anyway with more Star Wars later on in the year when Andor comes out, or Cassian Andor, whatever the fuck that's called. But when that comes out, we'll be back with more Star Wars. And next month, we're going to cook up something a little bit different on Dark Side. So see you next time, motherfuckers. May the Force be with y'all.
Live long and prosper.
What? Peace.
Peace.
I'm a god, you're a madman. This is the word of Dark Side.